Hello, and welcome back to Game Domain. This year, the Super Mario franchise captured our imagination when they introduced us to the idea of using Mario's hat, Cappy, to control his enemies. In addition to being used as a boomerang and a jump pad, Cappy allowed us to take control of an impressive variety of enemies and other characters to solve puzzles, beat challenges, and just get a good laugh. Today, we're going to rank our top 10 captures with Cappy. Just a disclaimer, there will be some spoilers in this video, considering some of the captures are required to beat challenges and some are only available after you finish the main story. With that being said, let's jump in, starting with number 10, the lava bubbles. As you'll see in Odyssey, you get to capture a lot of the enemies you love and the enemies you love to hate. The lava bubble made me laugh because this classic enemy, devoid of any character in the early Mario games, makes for a fun capture. You have to play a reverse the floor is lava game to stay a lava bubble. Hopping from puddle of lava to puddle of lava, this capture brought life to an enemy I considered more of the environmental hurdle than a character. Number 9 is Chargin' Chuck. Okay, I'll admit it. He has really very limited use in this game, but it was cool to see Chuck show up in the final stages of the game. And really, his charging ability is pretty much mandatory to battle your way to Bowser. After knocking off Chuck's helmet, you get to take possession of him and charge through boulders that would certainly be deadly to the very soft Mario. Blasting into number 8 is Bullet Bill. This is another of the long-standing enemies I was eager to possess. It's just a thrill to use the powers that have been used against us for so long. In this case, it's using Bullet Bill's ability to travel in a straight line over long distances on a flat plane. It's very helpful for reaching faraway areas. We also get a special boost that, luckily, normal Bullet Bills do not. This is one of a couple captures that was fun to play with just for the purpose of cruising around. The 7th capture on our list made a splash. Cheep Cheep. Water levels in platformers have a notorious reputation, as our heroes lose many of their powers and their movement abilities. But Mario's own version of Magikarp, Cheep Cheep, fixes that. Finally, moving through the water levels feels responsive and speedy, instead of slow and grinding. Also, unlike past Mario games, you can defeat underwater enemies without needing to spit fireballs. This capture alone made entire areas of the world more playable than they likely would have been if we were playing as just Mario himself. Number 6 is the Hammer Bros. Finally, after years of having game overs rain down on us from above, it is time for revenge. Odyssey puts a fun twist on the Hammer Bros. Because we encounter them in the food-themed area, we don't pour out buckets of hammers, but frying pans. It's one of the ludicrous visuals that I love, and it was fun to run through the game slinging cast iron retribution at my enemies. I was on cloud 9 with Capture 5, Lakitu. I don't think of Lakitu as an enemy too often, because he has pulled me out of the ether each of the 1,000 or more times I've driven off track in Mario Kart. But he is in fact an enemy of Mario's, as well as a prime target for possession via hat. Once you take control of Lakitu, you can float around on his cloud and fish for enemies, which is fun enough alone. But fishing in the ponds makes for a charming little minigame as well. Gushin comes rushing in at number 4. Everyone I've talked to had nothing but good things to say about this squid. Gushin is something of a callback to Super Mario Sunshine's flute, in that you can propel yourself up into the air and generally all around using a finite amount of water before dropping back to the water to recharge. You can also blast enemies and lava with the water. Similar to the water pack made famous in the Sunshine Kingdom, Gushin was one of the most useful captures I found in the game, and it was another of the fun, just cruising around exploring characters I enjoyed in this game. Number 3 is TRex. It was hardly a secret that you'd be able to play as a TRex in this game. It was, after all, Nintendo E3's trailer for the game. I was, however, surprised by just how crazy it was to be playing a Mario game, stomping around the map as a realistic, non-cartoon, pretty much invisible dinosaur. The big knock on Rex is that there aren't many opportunities to use his clumsy but unstoppable power, but I didn't mind. I don't want to have too much of a good thing, you know? And rampaging through enemies and barriers like they were wet paper is a very good thing. Number 2 is definitely a spoiler, since you can't find it until after you beat the game. Yoshi! Returning to the Mushroom Kingdom after beating the game was a really pleasant surprise that punched me right in the nostalgia, as Peach's castle is very similar to the world I loved exploring in Mario 64. right down to the fact that Yoshi can be found on top of the castle. Unlike 64, however, you don't get to find Yoshi, you possess him. Using his tongue to gather objects or do wall stalls, and using his flutter kick to reach new heights is an enjoyable time to reminisce of riding Yoshi in the past games. I only wish we had more opportunities to play as our favorite cartoon dinosaur. Number 1 is technically a spoiler, but if you played any Mario game, you know your final boss is going to be Bowser. What makes Odyssey a bit different is that he is also your final capture. Well, at least your final capture on the main plot. Once you defeat Bowser in your final battle, you need to possess him to save yourself and Peach. Using a surprisingly spry Bowser, you blast through enemies and rock with your powerful claw attacks and ability to spit fireballs to escape the collapsing rock all around you. There's some poetic justice in using Peach's kidnapper to save yourself, and there's something equally enduring about the final stage's 2D section. It's not a surprise that Bowser lands in number 1, but there really was no one better to take that top spot. So that's our list. But in a game with over 50 captures possible, including the charming shivering racers and the accordion-like tropical wiggler, it was hard to choose. Blasting enemies and walls as Sherm the Tank and building Goomba towers are probably my top 2 honorable mentions. You can even become a piece of meat. So in a game with so many possibilities, I'm sure you have favorites we left out. Which captures did you enjoy the most? Let us know in the comments, and if you enjoyed this video, give us a like. As always, thanks for watching. See you next time on Game Domain.